Welcome back to the Claw Pod. My name is the AntMan. I'm your host, sitting alongside Ross and Marshall Von Erich. And a couple of times we've had your father on, Kevin Von Erich. And anytime we start talking about storylines, talking about things that have happened back in the day, even if it's been 30, 40 years later, he does not break kayfabe. And that's what we're talking about here today. Welcome, guys. Good to see y'all.
It's good to see you, man.
See you guys.
Feels like I'm seeing you guys like an hour too soon, but the clock is doesn't agree.
Yes, indeed. This has been the week of everything being. Even though the clock, it used to be that none of our clocks changed on their own. You had to change them on your own.
Yeah.
Now they all change, but you don't change. It still feels like the old time on the inside. If you have that internal clock, and so it's I don't know on my end, it's kind of screwed a few things up. I don't know about you guys.
Sometimes I forget because I forget. I feel like we're on different time zones, but I keep forgetting you're texting, man. We got to hang out. We got to do one over here.
Well, that's like saying that it could be the same if I lived in Kansas. We're about the same mileage apart.
Yeah, that's right.
You can live in Texas and still not be close.
Texas is huge.
Very true.
There's a thing I read that said Texas is one of the only states that majority of the Texans that go on vacation stay in Texas during their vacations.
Yes.
I was like, dang.
It's like going to a whole nother state. Yeah, I'm about 2.5 hours away from you. So
dang, that's not that bad. Okay.
Not terrible. Not terrible.
Oh.
No, that's not it.
Oh,
yeah, there's been a couple of times when talking to your father. I think the most particular one that I can think of at the moment was you asked him about a chair shot that he and your mother came up with, he and his wife. And your mother came up with, and he wouldn't even acknowledge that you even said that. And when you tried to press him on it, he gave you the dad look.
No, you're right, man. See, he has these moods where he'll it's weird. Like he'll go back in time and he'll get it. I kind of like it though. I like it though. But I mean, at that, we had the podcast, we talked about Chris Adams, and I wanted to remind him that you did do a documentary, about him, and it's like you did break a little kayfabe there, but no,
is it the camera that scares him, or
I don't know.
Does he talk to you guys about it? Does he actually give you the full info at home?
When we were kids, Ross, right? When we were kids, Dad didn't really wise us up until maybe a little too late.
I remember going to matches and stressing my butt off, man. It was stressful watching him and, just watching him get beat up. And then, I'd be in the crowd cheering for him and stuff. But yeah, it's hard watching your dad get beat up. I wish he would have said something, honestly. But I guess that's the way his dad did it. So
yeah, he said his dad was heel though. So me and Ross had a better childhood having your dad be the hero. But my dad said he thought his dad was the toughest man on earth. And he saw him begging in Japan, like doing that thing. And Dad was like, Dad, you begged, man. Like he lost like so much respect for him.
How in the world could you do that?
Yeah, he's like, why would you do that, man? I was watching.
Kayfabe is. I wanted to. I should have done this before, but I was looking up what kayfabe means.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different origins and like opinions on it and stuff. But yeah, Ross, right? Didn't you say Dad had his own, but Ross and I were reaching it last night. Didn't you come up with something too, Ross? Or no, was that me here? I might have it right here.
Yeah, well, I just know it was. I know it originated like in carnivals for when wrestling would come to different towns, right. And they wanted to, stay in character.
Character the whole time. It's hard just reading. So kayfabe in the United States is often seen as the suspension of disbelief that is used to create the non-wrestling aspects of promotion, such as feuds and angles and gimmicks, in a manner similar to other forms of fictional entertainment. In relative terms, a wrestler breaking kayfabe would be likened to an actor breaking character on camera, since wrestling is performed in front of a live audience whose interaction with the show is crucial to its success. Kayfabe can be compared to the fourth wall in acting, since hardly any conventional fourth wall exists to begin with. Because of this lack of conventional fourth wall, wrestlers were once expected to maintain their characters even out of the ring and in other aspects of their lives. So, let's go there with kayfabe real quick to start it off. How do you feel about guys staying in character while when they're not in the ring or when they're not performing, when AEW's lights go out and you're headed to the car, you're in the airport. How do you feel about kayfabe in that instance?
Well, I just feel like it's the timing. The timing is weird because, like, with internet and social media, kind of like shattered the illusion a little bit. I feel like with just nowadays, but and then you have wrestlers openly tweeting each other and things like that, in character and stuff. But personally, I liked it. I mean, I like to believe that. It helps me just. It helps me enjoy the show more. But then you have shows like Dark Side of the Ring behind it's we all know now, but
sure.
It's I don't know. I feel like people like when the lines are blurred a little bit for the most part. And then AEW and WWE are totally different. They kind of went in different directions. AEW kind of leans into it feels like, and WWE kind of sticks to it somewhat, but then you have The Rock with the press conferences and all that,
which we'll get into. I'll tell you one that I feel that they did a good job of sticking to that actually ended up ruining some things, and that was LA Knight and AJ Styles this past WrestleMania. So just at WrestleMania 40 they fought in Philly, but there was a press day the day or two before. And they ended up sitting. So a press day looks like this, is that, what step and repeats are, big backdrops that look like it. So they're called that. So you can step up, take a picture, that you leave, 2 people step up or 3 people step up and take another picture and they leave. So that's a step and repeat. So you keep doing the same thing over and over again. Well, they have the superstars in front of the step and repeat, and press then goes up to them to do the interviews. So when there's guys like LA Knight and AJ Styles, a line forms. So I'm in line for AJ Styles and I'm the next person to walk up and do an interview. While I'm the guy before me is going up, and before he does, next to him is just to his right is LA Knight. He's in the middle of an interview, and AJ Styles, there's two stools sitting there. AJ Styles has one press guy leaving and another guy coming up, the guy in front of me. He looks over at him and takes his foot. You can't see me on camera if you're watching on YouTube right now, but takes his foot and kicks the stool so it bounces over and hits LA Knight next to him.
AJ did?
AJ did. AJ's healing this one. And so LA Knight stands up and walks over to AJ. AJ stands up. Those two start throwing real punches, hard punches, wrestling, going to the ground, go. And there's a wall in the back part of it. And they fight through the step and repeats where other people are doing interviews and get all the way to that back wall, and they kind of get trapped there. Well, and so all the press kind of gathers around, take a camera, and I'll tell you what, I'll show it to you right here. But yeah, you see that LA Knight does it, or AJ Styles did the double leg takedown of LA Knight right there on the hard floor, and AJ's bleeding, his nose is bleeding, takes his shirt and wipes his nose with it. And whether that it is or not, this is
beautiful.
It looks like legit heat happening at a press conference, or not a press conference, but press day where we get to do interviews, which was cool, except I got no AJ Styles interview, and I was next to him, so it pissed me off.
Man, of course you're mad.
Screws up the whole rest of the day, because everybody who had been waiting in line for either one of those guys, they no longer get the guy that they're going to, and then all the other lines are already full.
You know what it was? I bet one of them wanted to leave. They shot a text like, "Hey man, we should get out of here."
That's exactly what we said. We said these guys didn't want to be here. They found a way out.
Yeah,
making it an exit.
Yeah.
As far as optics go, isn't it just such a better look when I think for our job, it just looks so much better to stay in kayfabe. It really does.
I think so too. Yeah. I love it. I wish it was like that, where bad guys didn't sign autographs. I think that's really, for me, where it felt like it began to fade away in a lot of ways, is when Vince said, "No, you are going to sign autographs for kids, whether you're a good guy or bad guy." Man,
yeah, you are so right, because the heels shouldn't sign autographs for kids. It's fun to believe. And MJF, I'm glad he's he's like the one that's sticking to it. And I feel like he's one of the last wrestlers to fully commit to it. And we're Von Erich, so we don't really, I feel like we don't have a gimmick. My dad is like, that's your gimmick, is that you don't have a gimmick in a way. And I like that MJF stays in. And then in 2022, it was MJF was in a complicated position because his contract was coming to a close. And is he gonna kind of get real or whatever? Because he's been a guy that's been constantly in character and stuff. And so I thought it was interesting. And the more I thought about it, I thought he did a pretty good job at staying in character. And if they all worked us, but it was like a worked shoot, they were calling it, when he did the promo and he's asking Tony, or he called Tony a mark, kind of blurred the lines a little bit, and he's talking about how much money he's going to get and all that stuff. It's like, is this real? Is it not? Well, then he disappeared for a little bit. Also,
MJF throwing the drink in the kid's face, not the parents, in the kid's face.
That was the extra juice that thing needed.
Ross, we were in the Ross and I were on the road one time, and we're just watching the news, and we laughed so hard because a story of MJF coming, or he just showed up on he was in that town. I must have been doing an autograph signing, and he there was a kid in a wheelchair or something, and he was making a whole bunch of jokes about, come on, stand up for us, come on, and he's talking crap, doing his thing. And then, but it was caught on camera, so it looked way worse. And he said, professional wrestler, whatever. We were laughing so hard.
Yeah, it looked like a candid moment, which perfect.
Yep. I agree. He is the best, I believe, right now at standing character, because it's his character, his real life character, from what I understand. Right. Like that all the time. You said that he likes to make guys break or crack up backstage, but I feel that when you turn around, he's throwing something in your bags. He's peeing in one of them, or he's he's dropping underwear or something in there.
If he were to turn on you, it'd be kind of expected. It's like, come on, MJF, man, come on.
For sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. Adam Cole, come on. You mentioned The Rock earlier, Ross. Now, The Rock is a little different in one aspect, is that they're always saying, we're looking at things that, hey, we're going behind the curtain, pulling the curtain back, but I think that you can pull the curtain back to a brand new stage rather than pulling the curtain back to see backstage. And what I mean by that is that you have unlimited backstages if you want them to be. If you want to put, hey, we're just going to pull the curtain back and show you what's really going on. That can be a brand new stage that you can make whatever you want. You could pull back. Oh, no. I know that was but let's pull the real curtain back and show you backstage. That's a whole new stage again. Everything's a stage, and you can decide what you want to do with it and what you don't. The Rock tends to go in the direction of that he is an actor all the time. If he's shooting a movie, he's an actor. If he's out in the wrestling ring, he's an actor. If he is, at a movie premiere, he's an actor, and he's got to sell that movie. And that's the only place that I feel a little awkward, is that he's doing a great job at heelish things outside, like out in the ring, and saying, and you controversial about some things, places that he goes and what he does in the ring, like when he came back for Raw on Netflix and did that whole deal as he playing the nice guy, and now he says that it was all just a part of the character. But the problem is when he goes to the press conference and treats it like a movie premiere. Man, I had a great time working with Cody on that character and this character. And how do you guys feel, Ross? You brought it up. What do you got?
Yeah, no, at the same time, though, if there's one guy that can do it, he's kind of the exception to the rule, having made a bunch of things. I mean, if you wanted to argue, his position, but at the same time, he could be an example to everybody and just commit 100%. And I think it would actually make a cool ripple effect, and maybe other people would catch on or buy into that,
Yeah. I guess I was looking at it from a more insecure mindset. I just thought that he was like, he's lost touch of reality, and he's been an actor for so long. Like, is this just him now? And I don't know.
A little bit of me thought that too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just,
maybe we're all being wrong right now and don't even realize it.
See, and that's what I mean by you pulling back the curtain, there being another stage there rather than actually be the backstage, is that maybe all of it is. Maybe all of it is a stage. It's just a different stage, and understanding where here's the deal. If I were him or any of you guys, I'd just get confused. What stage am I on?
Yeah, no, seriously. I loved when he did the Cody Crybaby. He did something old school, but then he told us what he did. I wish he wouldn't have done that, but he said he heard the fans and leaned into it and stuff. But I think I'm just still mad because I wish he wouldn't have told me, because I was sensed it. We all sensed it. Like, oh, this would be crazy if Rock went back to heel Rock, as this mega superstar. It was brilliant though, but
and it carried over into real life.
Yes. I'm wondering if he didn't want to affect his like business deals. Is that why he didn't go too,
Well, that's what I've heard is that and other people have reported about that. And maybe it's just an opinion like us talking right now, but I've heard that that's why he does what he does in press conferences is because he wants the rest of his life to understand.
Yeah,
everything else
himself.
He touches and does.
Oh my gosh.
This is just another part I'm playing. And it's not for the you and me. It's for the ones it's for Disney. It's for that he has obviously a giant deal with because he does
if so much. If that's the case,
I mean, I was afraid of.
If that's the case, what now?
If that's the case, I'm even madder now. He's trying to protect himself. Come on, man.
Yeah. And
full heel.
Different world because, back in the day, let's say your dad's time, they weren't going for roles in movies. And even if they were going for roles in movies, they weren't the main character. They weren't the guy, the franchise of the whole thing. We didn't have a Maui back then for a Moana.
You're right.
1984.
It's so hard to compare with The Rock.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It just really is different, and he is a global star.
I want an opinion from you both. Where do you draw the line? Where does it stop? Where if you're living by Rock's rules for you, where does it stop when you leave the building? Does it stop when you leave the ring? Does it stop when just the camera's not on? Ross, I'll go with you first. What do you got?
I don't know. I think just in general, I think like when you're like on your way to the stadium or to the venue and like before and after the show, because you never know who you're going to be in contact with who maybe was at the show. I noticed Marshall and I, when we're on our way to a show, we're just locked in, and until we get home. And so that's kind of our mentality, but
it's
different for other people.
I really never thought of that, but we call it on the clock. But
yeah.
Because when we travel from Hawaii, wrestling was such an event. So much had to happen for us to get to the show, get on a plane for 8 hours, but that was the new normal because we lived in Hawaii. It was like, okay, a lot of suck is going to happen, but then the wrestling is going to happen. That's going to be great. And the fans and all this stuff. So we'd kind of just get in wrestling mode from the beginning. And that is true. But Ross is saying that, I never really thought about that, but like talking to flight attendants, all that stuff, because it helps you. It helps you kind of, they're nicer to you. You're more on guard a little bit. You're kind of ready for the day when, airports crap gets thrown at you and stuff, but kind of consider it on the clock. So kayfabe doesn't really stop for us.
Right.
Either in a way.
Yeah. You stay in. Yeah. I told you that I had one match. I've done one match and I was a heel that turned in the middle of the match or towards the end of the match. Turned to face. Well, the guys that I was teaming up with, we all had been working together for a good month because somebody who didn't know how to bump or anything when we walked in the door, till we did that match on the 4th of July weekend, outdoors and what have you. And it was fun. So it was like I said, it was outdoors. So when we finished the match, like I stayed around and watched and what have you. And was hanging out. And it was a family fun day, people milling about. There's other stuff going on. And by that time, everything started to hurt on me. So I'm walking different. I'm feeling different, because I got hit harder than I had been in when we were rehearsing and what have you. And one of the heel partners I saw again, and I just started talking to him like, man, I feel like I'm an old man right now. I feel thinking he would sympathize or go, yeah, it's something to be expected or whatever. And he goes, dude, get the hell away from me. And walked off. And I thought, oh crap. I'm not supposed to be talking to you.
Yeah. We've seen that a lot.
Have you? Yeah. Why is he so pissed? We were just, that's right.
Hey, man, good for him.
I was a heel. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Ross, remember that happened to Noah, dude? I felt bad for him because we had a friend that we broke into wrestling that he just the kindest guy, like a sweet dude. And Yeah, he wanted to make sure that he knew everybody liked him. So it was like, don't do it. And during meet and greets, man, in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. With another wrestler with a heel.
Yeah. When you're on the card too,
Yes.
it's like,
yeah. He's like, you're so nice to me in the back. What's wrong? And I was like, no, dude, relax, man. It's just, he's like, we're wrestlers. You can't go hug everybody.
Yeah. You went through the curtain. You're on.
I have to tell you this.
I know. Yeah. And remember, we were trying to teach him how to be heel because the babyface thing wasn't working. And so we wrestle him, and then he comes out with shirts and he's giving them to the kids and the fans, and he's a heel. Like, dude, what are you doing, man?
You don't give presents, you take presents.
I'm sorry. It's just so hard to be for people to not like.
To be fair, we did question it, but he was adamant about making it happen.
I know. We told him no, and he's like, "No, I'm going to go with my gut on this one. I'm really going to go." I was like, "Okay, dude,
you're not a heel, but okay."
Let's see how vulnerable we are.
Yeah, exactly. That's you. I like the whole deal that you say that when you're on the clock, you're in character, because you got to think about here in 2025 that at any point backstage, you could be on camera.
Yeah.
Right.
Cell phone.
Yeah, you're right. Any point, be ready. I feel like there's some lines like maybe like injury, like when Big E broke his neck, like people are genuinely friends with him, and you see that wrestlers will just break because like that's when like kind of love comes in,
Yeah, genuine friends. I get it, but imagine if you guys are doing something with MJF, easy to hate, right? But he, if you're backstage and you guys do cut up, and I know you guys like practical jokes, especially you, Marshall, and he maybe likes that too. And you started doing that, but he was actually doing something on his phone for social media. Sure, you could stop and do it again, but the whole deal is that you could be on at any time. So if you have to flip back and forth because you're worried about being on camera or not, you just stay in character. You can, it's always there, right?
Yeah, no, and as wrestler, you just kind of have tough skin too, because there's some heels that are just like that stick to it more than others, and I get it. Some guys will be like heel in the because they're trying to get into that character before their match or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of pricks, they're douches until their match starts or whatever. And everyone has different, ways that, actors will stay in character. There was some movie Jim Carrey's was like obnoxious because he stayed in the character like during the back. And
we needed an Andy Kaufman thing.
Andy Kaufman movie. Absolutely.
Yeah. That was his tactic and stuff. So you can't really be like, stop doing that, man. It works for him.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you guys feel about kayfabe in 2025? People staying in it. Has it gone too much away and it's hard to believe stuff anymore? Or do you feel like it's still alive in some areas and with some characters? Let us know in the comments. You guys aren't afraid to leave comments, and we love that. Keep the comments coming wherever you can do that. I know you can do it on Spotify and you can do it on YouTube. So if you're listening or watching on either one of those, leave a comment and let us know. If you're listening somewhere else, the iHeartRadio app or on Apple Podcast, best thing you can do there is just leave us a review. Give us 5 stars and share it with a friend, because that would help a lot. And so if you guys wouldn't mind doing that, we would appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything and would be great for this podcast. If we invited your dad on to talk about this, how long do you think that conversation would go?
Oh man,
it would turn into a lecture.
I thought it was going to be short. Like he wouldn't talk about it.
I want to.
It would a lecture while we're asking about it, maybe.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're gonna have to hide this episode from Dad. If you see what in the hell was that?
You're acknowledging it.
Yeah, you're acknowledging it.
Yep. And so you didn't do one this week, as far as he's concerned.
Yeah. We
didn't do what this week?
It was spring break, Dad. Sorry, we didn't.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Good to see you guys today, and thank you guys for watching or listening here to the Claw Pod, and we look forward to seeing you next week.